We've seen even the Koguras pop up. There's been some changes, of course, in the mid lane. I'm a proponent of that. I'm happy for that. I want to see more heroes even picked up already in day 3. We're going to be jumping into the draft, though, here for our first match of day number 3, and it's game 1 for AP Bren and Twisted Minds. We've got AP Bren on the blue side, Twisted Minds over here on the red. And Leo, I think you mentioned this. Blue side's doing pretty good right now.
That I did. And I also mentioned the Uranus. And it seems like AP Bren have respected the fact that maybe Twisted Minds have it in their playbook to pick it against them, and they are not letting that get past them. Coach Jeff here alongside Coach Bomb calling the shots, taking out the Zushin as well, while Coach Bonchan taking away the 1-1 in the Arlet. Still out there are the Lancelot, the Eastern Shin, some of these big ticket picks, even the Farsa. I reckon in a team fight heavy kind of matchup like this, you'd like to get your eyes on, especially in the opening picks.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking out for what Twisted Minds is willing to let go of for AP Bren's first pick, because even yesterday, Twisted Minds, they love being in the red side. This is where they got their 2 wins, or this is where they got their 2 wins just yesterday. So I am not entirely surprised to see them stick with the red side, but just the same AP Bren, whenever they're on the blue side too, they've been winning it out all the time. So now that the Yisun Shin's taken out, that leaves us with the Lancelot you mentioned, possibly as a priority, or if not the Farsa, because I feel like Aqua, based on yesterday, he has this tendency to reserve his heroes for a bit later as well, because we saw his Valentina come into play yesterday too. It was such a great pickup up against the lineup that they went up against. So banning out the Lancelot.
Baksha's still open, just saying.
Baksha, CC even, if they really want to ensure that they get a winning matchup up against Lansu. But I think the Farsa too might be a consideration here if ever they do want to go for a more standard approach in terms of the draft.
Yeah, I think Farsa would be great. Just because I was saying, with that mid lane kind of focus right now. But you've got a lot of great options for the first pick now. The Farsa box should still be in there. You could actually, I don't know if they would prioritize even an XP lane. CC's open.
Yeah.
She's been relatively really well.
If we were in MSC, I would have said like Kalea, but we don't get to see the priority Kalea anymore.
Yeah. Leo got it though. There's the Baksha.
Yeah. So the Baksha.
Maybe this is where they pick the Farsa first, because we've seen teams not really be afraid of a Baksha and still pick the Farsa anyways. So I'd say you can go. This is such a genius pick though, the allowing the Farsa through, because you're not really risking anything, because you can pick the Selena after.
Yeah, I feel like...
So it's a trade, either way.
Yeah, I feel like even if they, or AP Bren does get their hands on the Farsa, Sean's gonna be okay, as long as he gets his Selena later on. So it's Lansu who gets his hands on the CC instead, and I feel like this is such a great pickup. I mean, they get to anticipate that Farsa if ever it does come out through Tagaton.
No one wants to budge, because with Twisted Minds picking these 2 picks, they don't mind the Farsa or the Selena either way. So now AP Bren have to consider, do we go, do we reveal even the possibility of the Baksha being in the jungle or the roam, because Kalia's out there too. They can make that pick here, because Twisted Minds have made their bed. They decided this is a CC and a Gatot in the roam.
That's where the flex happens, I mean, this is what we've seen throughout the days here with the Howl from the Keys to Victory, or with Wolf, is that flexibility they can go for. But they're going to go for the Moskov, the Selena. They're going to grab that for AP Bren. So this is control. Again, if the Baksha obviously is going to be planted there in the jungle, then you actually have pretty good control in the early game. But now the Kagura comes through. We've mentioned this hero a couple times as it's made its way, in the first couple days. Is this good though? Like, is the Kagura a solid choice for Twisted Minds?
I mean, if it were, or this is definitely going to be a Gatot roam, right? They could still play that same level of aggression, because the pokes that could come in from the Umbrella, and then the Gatot Catcher just tanking everything and just making use of that passive to also threaten the opposing mid laners or roamer of the teams. I feel like it could really still be a huge factor in terms of how Twisted Minds could do that Twisted mindset. But I'm looking at who could their jungler be, because that is definitely where the bans are going to be headed.
Even Twisted Minds
aren't sure,
but maybe they are so sure that they don't mind blocking AP Bren out of the flex, because they're taking out the Joy, what's left out there, the Hayabusa, the Fredrin. Are we missing anything else? Because that seems to be it. Akai? Even we saw Akai yesterday.
There's a...
Is it too soon to say MP's gonna whip out Alice? Are we at that stage?
I think based on how Twisted Minds played yesterday, it's more AP Bren that tends to bring out the flex. Even in the hall, it was mentioned that it's AP Bren or Twisted Minds who should watch out for AP Bren and their flex. So maybe not. Like, I don't know what Bochan's cooking, but maybe not. Like, I sense that Twisted Minds will be sticking with the more common junglers for now.
Love how Coach Jeff here is blocking out one of Nosha's favorites, the Granger.
And it will soon be a battleground.
I assume that they will still attack a gold laner here.
Yeah.
Yeah, narrow it down more.
Take out what is this? The Claude?
Yeah, the Claude, the Carry, Bruno
Harith.
options also
Harith's still out there.
seem okay.
Harith would actually work really well for Twisted Minds if they do get that, because you know, you get to play into the Kagura a little bit. We've seen that, you know, especially with itemization, like Genius wanted to help that out, but a lot of good choices even for the gold lane. But I think maybe just take out the Harith if they don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, because they might feel a bit more hesitant to pick it up themselves as well, because there's a Gadot in Twisted Minds
Hold up.
already. Wait.
Well, why the glue if there's already...
What are they seeing here that we... Is this the fabled gold lane CC?
Oof. Is it?
Are they looking at it that, hey, Nosha might still pick up the CC? Look at the... Even MP, he's like, hold up.
Okay, there's a Harith, like we were
So
talking
it's
about.
not. It's...
No adjustment.
Yeah, maybe it was just to be safe. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I don't think they needed to ban out the glue, man.
AP Brent out-twisted Twisted Minds.
Twisting, or maybe their minds are twisted.
Or do they just want to keep like a lot of the options still open?
Hey, at least the jig is up. AP Brent has to reveal where the box is going here with picks 4 and 5.
Yeah.
We know that much. While still Twisted Minds.
Yeah.
They're holding on to us.
Without knowing what Twisted Minds is gonna go for in the jungle, I mean, there's still a Hilda as well, but you might not want to go for that because you don't know if it's even gonna be an assassin jungler. So this might just be a backshow roam and then the Esmeralda in the XP lane. But the Fanny. Oh,
Okay, so
Not bad.
I remember the Fanny CC which happened in day number 1 and like
Yep,
Yeah.
that Fanny folded.
that Fanny folded and got Yo-Yo blitzed down. So there's the answer. The Hayabusa was open. That'll go in the hands of MP. So now we got the picture painted, and yeah, the box. I don't know if this was like just a last minute kind of idea. You know?
That plot twist kind of ended in a wet fart. Like we could have sworn there was gonna be this
Big plan.
this 5-head flex, but apparently it was really as is.
yeah.
We should have took it at face value. I don't know how to feel about this Fanny though. I like the genius play of forcing Twisted Minds into drafting a certain way,
Yeah.
so that there's very little hard catch for the Fanny. So
Yep.
maybe James Banks has a good game.
Yeah, and compared to yesterday, James Banks might be a lot more excited to play an assassin because he was only ever able to play the Lancelot yesterday. It was a surprise to us to see him prioritize the likes of the Akai and the Uranus in the jungle.
He won with an Akai though.
But he won with it. But still, I feel like this is what everyone's expecting to see if we're talking about James Banks.
Well, you guys can let us know what you think in the comment section and in the chat. Is it going to be AP Bren or will it be Twisted Minds with the twisted draft that came
Welcome
through?
to Mobile
Let us know. It's
Legends.
game of 1 in this best of 3 in the first match of day number 3 here to round out week 1. We take a look at these early rotations and how this is going to go. You got to, every single time we see the Fanny, man, you know, you got to protect, you got to keep those buffs available throughout the entirety of the game. And even one slip up or one buff that goes out of the hands of the Fanny sometimes has a major effect across the game as a whole. Emblems, are they anything sticking out here, Brigitte?
I think it's Aqua not going for
The demon-
yeah,
the season hunter.
The season hunter. Yeah, never mind. I mean,
A great movie.
The great movie. But that's interesting because I feel like that's what you would really want to. Or maybe they just know that there won't be any heroes from Twisted Minds who could potentially invade James Banks anyway. Like the Kagura and the Gatot might be a little more careful, but speaking of, AP Brand definitely seem to be switching it up. They're the ones trying to go for the more aggressive start compared to Twisted Minds.
Look at this Lord JM, 2 heroes deep against Lansu and Kaloy. Sean can't do much. Throws out an arrow alongside the rollout by X-Nova. Quick pause here to let us gather our thoughts about this minute-and-a-half game so far.
Okay, so while they go ahead and get things situated here, this is one of the things, you know, Fanny, I feel like we've seen her how many times now this weekend? I know it's been a few. And I just feel like this is one of those tests where it's like, okay, can we actually make this Fanny work for AP Bren? I know James Banks likes to play the Assassins and it does relatively well on them, but they actually, what I do like is their draft has kind of these phases where like throughout the game, let's say it gets to a later portion of the game, you're still covered with a Moskov. The Fanny can put side lane pressure as well. You can work in the fact that you also have a Baksha that's a pretty good front line. And you just need to be able to peel in a sense if you have to.
Yeah.
Now you have two heroes that generally have a lot of mobility against this lineup of Twisted Minds where it's like, okay, the Hayabusa is going to be putting pressure early on,
Yep.
but Kagura I feel like is still a question mark for me too. Like sometimes you're thinking she's going to have a ton of bursts and then sometimes it just doesn't happen. And so I think they need to make that work with the Kagura plus that Harith in a lot of the team fights that'll break out later on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna highlight the mobility you mentioned about APBR and their lineup because, like, given that they have this kind of composition, they have the Fanny, they have the Baksha, and they have the Moskov to manage the sides for themselves whenever they're not entirely focusing on heading into the team fight just yet. At least they can ensure that they could get in position first because based on Twisted Minds, based on the Twisted mindset, the way that they're able to always just play aggressively and the way that they did yesterday was when they were able to establish the control in the mid and when they're able to rotate to their positions first. But if APBR is going to capitalize on the mobility that their lineup has, then that might be one of the ways they're planning to respond to this gameplay that Twisted Minds introduced to us yesterday.
I think a part of this always too is like the other thing up in the air is the Selena's, you know, like
Yeah.
Selena has worked at certain moments and then other moments it's like, all right, you're playing around the arrow. And I know she doesn't have that great of a win rate right now,
Yeah.
but it's like she still provides vision. Arrows, we've seen it happen where it's like it can change the course of a game, like we saw last night. Oh,
Here we go, 3v2, down bottom. Shadow kill already used up. Aqua flickering out, using that damage reduction underneath this XP lane tier 1. Sean holding this long brush. X-Nova rolling around. Turtle's already spawned.
Yeah, he's level 4 already.
Oh my god! Sean finds Aqua! In comes James Banks and Lord JM. Sean with the flicker, able to go ahead and get some shields. They're revitalized by Kaloy. Helps him out. SOD, not gonna take it. X-Nova gets a yo-yo blitz on him. Lord JM. Alright, say what you will about the mobility that APBR has, but they also kind of find it hard to lock Twisted Minds down.
Yeah, and that was such a clutch passive. Yin Yang Gathering coming in from Sean, stunning James Pack so he wasn't able to proceed with the kill or the attempt to kill, aside from the fact that he had other teammates nearby.
Oh.
And they get the turtle for themselves as well. So Twisted Minds, even despite how fast APBR were going in for the rotations, they were the ones who got the better trades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, consider at the end of it all, Twisted Minds drew first blood.
yeah, they did. At this point, you're still in a pretty good position to just kind of duke it out before that next turtle or even wait till the next turtle comes up. But surprisingly enough, they go back to just grabbing the buffs, rotate around from that. And if you look at this, some of the first items not locked in just yet. So building into that here.
Oh, Lord JM with a falling star moon almost catches Sean and Kaloy. But that's a very, very slippery Kagura you're trying to lock down. Again, the story of it is Twisted Minds don't have as much map rotational speed, but APBR can't lock them down either way.
Yeah, the cleanse or the ability to just use the Yurasho Umbrella Flea and get away, and considering Sean and the way he just positions himself on this Kagura, you just know that the level of mastery is up there when it comes to his usage of it. Oh, but they find him once again. Another way of just getting out of danger. So this is why APBR can't.
Oh my lord, SOD coming in for the silent kid! Trying to take down Nosha, but he shall not fall! What do we say to the god of death? Not today!
Nausea, actually, I'm surprised he survived that and even stopped with that arrow being thrown out there. But, you know, good play. Good play up there to stay alive and not go down.
Yeah, he even got or nearly got the kill on James Banks, and that would have been so big for Twisted Minds because we had 10 seconds just before the turtle, and this could pretty much ensure that they get to position themselves first. Oh, but those are a lot of resources already committed.
Yin Yang overthrown, thrown out. Turtle spawning here. I don't know if Sean's gonna have that resource up, but look at this 5-man presence from Twisted Minds. X-Nova, he knows what's up. James Banks diving in. Turtle still goes over to Twisted Minds. They jumped out of Kaloy. That's a cutthroat. Going out, Nova. Pop in,
good arrow.
revitalized. Down he goes. Lansu gets a double. MP the King falls too. 2 for 2. The current trade. In comes Shizo. SOD. Vengeance by Lansu. He doesn't fall, but off camera. Down goes Nosha. Lord JM danced on him.
Wow, what a team fight already. I mean, look at the bodies here around the turtle, and an arrow comes in clutch, but still, you know, it turns out that objective goes to Twisted, but still APBR holds on.
Yep, I know he mentioned that there aren't much options from Twisted Minds to hold down James Panks, but it's not just James Panks that you have to find a way to deal with. It's also Lord JM, who's now on a 201 KDA. No one can hold him in place, and if he just keeps doing what he does, the Kagura, the Harith, every single one will find it difficult to position themselves in the team fight.
And taking a look at the items here too. Okay, Inge turn going to be used. And that's the thing. Whoa, Lord JM. This is what a 2-0 Esmeralda does.
He stood his ground. He asserted dominance and pushed back 3 members of Twisted Minds single-handedly, and he's doing so still.
He's dancing in front of them.
He's button move.
Literally, that's what Esmeralda does. Just like that.
Oh, that's it goes down. We barely just caught it. James Panks gets him, and there's another push by AP Bren.
They're so quick to convert the objectives, and now they're able to take down 2 tier 1 turrets in the sides of Twisted Minds. This wasn't how Twisted Minds was able to go for the Twisted Mindset just yesterday. Through this Selena gathering the information, and through this Esmeralda for JM, who we barely get to see in the XP lane because he's always trying to disrupt members from Twisted Minds, they just make their presence felt all over the map.
And this whole time, she's just been able to just farm up on the Moskov. You know, he's got the 2 items, Corrosive Scythe and Golden Staff right now. He's holding a little bit of a lead over Nasia, and that's fine. The 3rd turtle is up here. Twisted Minds could go 3 for 3 for this, but I think AP Bren wants to contest it. They've got a little bit of a lead ahead of them. They're going to fight for this turtle.
Early puissance pop by X-Nova, facing out 3. 3 out of 3 turtles go over to Twisted Minds, but down goes James Banks. Hard fight in the pit. There's the Zaman Force. Mosha dashing on through, serving up a double for Sean. Panks and Nova out of the equation just as quickly, cutting that lead in half. Twisted Minds wins.
Yep, that was such great zoning from Lansu. He put and used the curtain call just on Shizu, tried to zone him away because in that moment Shizu decided to join the fight and not go for the split pushes instead. So Twisted Minds and the other remaining members were able to work on whoever decided to throw themselves up front, and that allowed MP the King to gain easier access, to have an easier way to secure the objective for his team.
Yeah, that front line is really helping Twisted Minds here, but I think they'll just disengage. Oh, arrow will land, but no follow through there. They're trying to get these turrets. I think that's the hardest part for Twisted Minds right now, is even though they're winning these team fights and fighting around these objectives, it's like, all right, how do we transition to, let's get some space to work with. Let's get some of these turrets down, and that's where the current struggle is right now for them, just because even if who are you going to put to push that lane in? You know, eventually it might even have to be MP the King to put some side lane pressure on, or if Nasia does it himself as a Harith, you're kind of susceptible to getting caught out.
Macro superiority for AP Bren. Even if Twisted Minds won that last engagement, AP Bren are still in the lead. Twisted Minds have to very specifically choose who they send to fight and to take care of the map.
Yeah, I guess they're really backing on the idea that their team fighting is...
Whoa!
James Peg caught out in the middle of 5! Make that 4! But he still doesn't take down Norsha. Zaman Force dropped in here. The MDL gold laner takes out James, and now Lord JM very low. AOG Twisted Minds still picking a fight. Aqua goes down 2 for 9 again. It's the same old story. Lazu's not done. Wants to take down Nova, but does get the point.
Oh, look at MP.
MP in the back line. Shadow kill onto Nova. Down he goes. Twisted Minds win in fights. The Twisted Mindset gets him to this lead. 1,000 gold and counting.
I was supposed to say, they're probably just waiting for that perfect team fight. And right as we mentioned that, it broke out into another fight. Oh, wait.
Or JM against 4. You can't win this.
There's no dance moves enough for that. Oh, tough loss there for AP Bren. That whole exchange on the bottom side of the map, and now a Lord is up and for the taking for Twisted. Unless somehow, some way, AP Bren pulls this off. They are going to get pressure now on that tier 2 in the bottom. There's the spear.
SOD coming in. MP the King secures it. The shadow kill onto Nova. Dropping the Zaman Force as well. Forces the Puissance. He ain't going nowhere.
My goodness, Twisted Minds. They're just working together. They're not splitting themselves across the map. And so whenever, even if James Panks or Lord JM decides to go in now, especially with the amount of damage that you could already expect from the likes of Norsha, from the likes of Sean, it would not be an entirely easy task for them anymore. So things have changed after that team fight we saw happen down bottom. Now the lead is in their hands. Now they have the Lord. And they might have a lot more ways to answer back against AP Bren. If it's all about the engages that AP Bren were expecting through the backshed, they have to be a lot more calculated with that heading into the next few minutes of this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised too, just, you know, how good of a game this is for Kagura finally for Sean. 4-0-3, he's quite a bit ahead against Aqua in terms of gold even, and the damage is working out pretty well. Now he gets Divine Glaive, so he's already been doing really good burst-wise, but you put a Divine Glaive on top of that now, it's going to be very difficult for AP Bren in some of these choke points especially. Nasia also gets a Holy Crystal, so look at the pressure.
Lord's still alive, James back to take him down quickly, MP scores, and the push continues. Shizu forced to defend. Twisted Minds forcing AP Bren to respond.
Yeah, going in up against 5 members might not sound that great of an idea if you're AP Brand now, because Twisted Minds are already 3k up ahead. And even though it was a very narrow spot that could have been great for a Fanny, Kaloy, still there's the threat of the taunt, and that is going to matter a lot in how Twisted Minds gets to burst down whoever decides to go in. Even Lord JM has to consider that right now, and Twisted Minds are just going to be very disciplined and focused on taking the objectives, but maybe Brent might want to fight.
Bottom lane penetrated. X-Nova here. Once again, the only thing holding back Twisted Minds from AP Bren getting run through. And that'll be his 5th death so far.
Kaloy's doing a great job too, and a lot of these fights that we're seeing break out, Kaloy is where he needs to be. Pops will revitalize if he has to, but his threat enough, even with the unbreakable threat, like that taunt, is something that keeps him second guessing.
MP the King gets hit with the Spear of Misery, but it's not going to stop him. Shadow kill out, plus a quad shadow just to get away. SOD no one home. Mid lane tier 3 falls as well. Now Lord JM holding his ground. Twisted Minds taking this slow. 6k ahead, but now in comes the Hive, pushing him out. Can they win this? She's up clearing the wave. Lord JM dancing around, pushing 3 back. Plans to with a vengeance. Salmon forced by Nosha. No, Lord JM puts up enough shield, but he's still going to fall. MP gets another 6 kills for Michael Andino.
They wanted to fight.
Yeah.
They went for the chase, but Twisted Minds, they just decided to answer back right at that moment. And when it's Sean who gets to pay attention to you, when it's Nosha who has his Zaman Force intact, that's when you need to reconsider your choices.
AP Brent's best choice right now is to divide and conquer. Don't take Twisted Minds head on. That's very rarely a good idea.
And this is the thing. This is what I was saying earlier with the Selena, man. Like, I know earlier in the game, early game, mid game, it was working pretty good. You still get the vision. Some of the arrows were there. But you see the distance between the Selena and then now the Kagura. You know, you're 3,000 gold behind just in the lane matchup alone. And the amount of burst damage value that comes from the Kagura from Sean in these fights are, you know, you can't really discredit it at all because it's such a big burst. And then you have a Divine Glaive now too on Nausea. Yeah. So the synergy between those two heroes have been working really well. And I think that's what we're going to see more of when the Kagura does pop up. It usually works synergistically with another hero that is going to capitalize on that or vice versa. So now Lord is here. They got 1 base turret for AP Bren. They're going to lose this one. We'll see if they don't lose the game, if they stay in this.
James Banks cleared that bottom lane. In comes Galoy. AOG. Puissant fight. X-Nova trying to start it, but he gets taken out. So does Shiza. Down goes Galoy. Trade out for 4 and 5. And there goes the base. Twisted Minds first on the board.
But Twisted Minds take game number 1. They flipped a switch midway through and look at a decisive victory here.
Many were excited for the Kagura, and here it is. So, one of the most successful Kaguras we've seen ever yet, and I'm surprised we saw it through Sean first, because like so much of us were expecting like the unique mid lane picks to come from Aqua and the Lilias and all that. But that first kill they got down bottom, and then every single small decision that we saw from Sean on this Kagura mattered so much, because like the way he could play it either a bit defensively, just always throwing out the umbrella and sticking to, let's say, one of their key players, that could be Nausea, and so whenever someone attempts to go near, there could be a brief stun that catches them once they try to get a bit too close and once they walk away, or just doing those, some would even say, combos you see online, because he has the flicker, right? So there are just so many mechanics that we saw through Sean on this Kagura as well, and all that working hand in hand together with the aggression of his other teammates. MP the King on this Hayabusa, I'm just so amazed to see Twisted Minds perform this way.
I'm not sure who MVP would be here, you know, because I think everybody really played their part. Sean did an amazing job. I'm not sure exactly how much damage he was able to do, but we're going to give the MVP over to MP the King here.